Welcome to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast. I am your host, Kaylee Greenacre, a business strategist, coach, TEDx speaker, author, and your go-to woman for all things business strategy. I am obsessed with supporting female entrepreneurs to grow unstoppable six and multi-six-figure businesses that they love, giving them the freedom and life that they desire. During this podcast, I'll be sharing with you everything that you need to become a successful female entrepreneur, from the mindset shifts to sales and marketing strategies and how to become an iconic leader that people can't get enough of. It is my mission to help you stand out, attract your dream clients and customers, and sell out of your offers with ease whilst building the business and life of your dreams. Let's make this your reality, ladies. Hello, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Actually I Can, the Female Entrepreneur Podcast. And I'm joined today by the fabulous Dee Airey, who is a money mentor and success and leadership coach. And in today's episode, we're going to be diving into the courage to dream bigger, setting braver goals for wealth and success. Dee, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
I am very excited to talk about a very successful launch that you've had very recently today.
Uh,
But actually, before we dive into that, sorry, I'm going to make everyone wait and pause for a moment. Before we dive into the excitement of what has just happened in the last couple of weeks for you, do you want to give a proper introduction and just share with our audience a little bit more about your story and your background?
a bit about me. Okay. Yeah. So as you say, I'm a money mentor, and success and leadership coach. I have done a lot of things, multiple income streams. I really believe in that because I think I phase out quite quickly if I'm just doing one thing. So I teach, mentor women
Mhm.
to set braver goals, like proper big goals, and earn more money. I unlock that whole money block thing. I've become quite good at it actually because I've done it myself. So I do that with female entrepreneurs, which is really, really exciting. The success and leadership coaching, I do that in corporate. So I do that in the construction industry. So it's quite niched. Um, and that comes in two parts. I help corporate businesses in construction to not only take on top talent, but to retain it because retaining staff is really, really hard in construction. And I do that through leadership coaching. And I also help graduates get into the industry with great CVs, more experience than they have when they come out of uni. And yeah, it's just so exciting. I get excited about everything I do.
Oh, it sounds incredible. And you obviously, like you said, you have different ways of helping people and working with people
Yeah,
to
yeah,
support
yeah.
them, which is fantastic. And I know that you absolutely love what you do. And this leads on so nicely too. I'm holding something. I know that our listeners won't be able to see this, but I am
Fabulous.
holding something very exciting, which is Dee's brand new best-selling book called Set Goals, Life as a Rich B star TCH. How we're going to word it on here. Um, tell me about this book, darling, because this looks incredible. I literally was given my copy yesterday, so I cannot wait to dive into this. But I want to talk about this with your audience or with our audience, and tell them more about the obviously the book, and then we'll
Yeah,
to and sort of discuss a couple of the ideas in the book itself as well.
it is. It literally is, as it says on the cover, set goals like a rich thing. Um, we'll call it thing. Because I have done that my whole adult, well, before my adult life. I set my first crazy rich thing goal
Mm.
at 14 years old. It was
Wow.
literally, I wrote it down. And then my next huge goal I set at 17 years old. So I was still a child, but I have gone through life setting impossible goals. And I don't mean the stuff that we do day to day where we set a goal, oh, my goal is to achieve this week or what have you. I'm talking about real life-changing goals. Um, and I've done it so much. And as I've been coaching women, I found actually you're not really throwing yourself at this. You're not dreaming big enough, and you're not giving yourself a big enough reason to be doing what you're doing. So, and it just seems to be something on repeat all the time. So this book, I believe, has been in me for years and years and years. So I
Mm.
thought everyone needs this,
Yeah.
everyone. So that was what inspired me to write it and get it out there. And I've thrown my body weight at it. So
Oh, and I'm so excited to read it. And obviously, we're going to do a plug for the book right now. If you have not got your copy yet, ladies, of this amazing book, then please do so. The link is in the show notes, and make sure you go and grab this because this, I believe, is going to support and help so many people. And I cannot wait to read it
I
myself.
think so. Do you know, the feedback coming in now
Mm, mm.
is, bearing in mind the book came out a week ago. Um, the feedback is phenomenal. Is people are like, I've read chapter one, and oh my gosh, it's me, and I can hear you talking to me, and it's just been like amazing the feedback that's coming from people. So it is a really good book, I
Yes.
have to say.
Oh, I'm so excited to read it. So let's dive into some of the kind of, well, the topic itself and how this will really support our listeners in sort of thinking bigger, being braver with their goal setting. I think braver goals and sort of thinking about sort of setting those really big goals is a really important thing to discuss as entrepreneurs because I think it's so easy sometimes to play it a little bit safe,
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
to be play it safe, do the sensible things, and just
yeah.
be consistent, which is great. Don't get me wrong. But we want to put ourselves out there a little bit. We want to make sure that we are setting ourselves these big, brave goals. So, can you talk us a little bit through this? How do we set ourselves braver goals, and what's the point of doing this?
Do you know, you don't even have to search for them
Mm,
because we all have them in us anyway. We all have this, I wish I could, whatever. But that comes up in your gut so many times, and it literally follows you through your life. So we all have these moonshot goals or North Star goals, call them what you will, where they're a bit too embarrassing to say out loud to anybody because you're going to get laughed at, like questioned. Seriously, is that what you want to do? So you keep them tucked away, and then life comes along. You have kids, or you're in a job, or you're paying bills, all the things that are sitting in your reality. But this thing inside of you doesn't necessarily go away.
mhm.
And what we do is we just, well, that couldn't possibly happen. I'll never be able to do that. So you just tuck it away, but it doesn't go away.
No.
They're the brave goals that I want people to actually, let's cough them up and bring them out into reality and see what we can do with them.
Mm,
That's fundamentally what the book's about. That's what I want women um to do, to be really brave. Because lots of us, especially if we're parents, we live by the guilt clock. We don't want to do too many things because we feel guilty because we got the family and all the things. But for you to really be you, you need to bring those goals up.
yeah.
Really important.
Yeah, really, really important. Absolutely. And this links quite nicely to, what I was sort of touching on a couple of minutes ago in regards to sort of women or individuals setting goals that feel safe and feel sensible.
Yeah.
Why do you think people do this? Why do you think that people just prefer to stay safe rather than stretching themselves and really leaning into what actually excites them?
Because I think we do, and it's not just us, it's the way our mind works as well. Our minds protect us from change because change could quite easily mean danger. So that's what our inner selves does. It protects us from that change. So we play safe because if you set a goal that that you could achieve, let's set that goal because then you can tick it off and feel really, really satisfied.
Mm.
Yeah. But the brave goals, the ones that are really deep that we already carry around, they're quite terrifying
Yeah.
because how am I going to do that? Right?
Mm.
Um, and what are people going to say about that kind of thing? Like you can set a goal this week that, by the end of this quarter, you're going to achieve X, Y, and Z. But that's what people know you to do. So nobody's going to judge you for it. Everybody's going to go along with, Kaylee's done this in the. because that's what people know. For you to bring out something, actually, I've always wanted to be an opera singer. Seriously, Kaylee, can you sing? Do you know what I mean? There's so
Yeah.
many things that can come out that would derail you
Yeah.
and make you doubt yourself, even though it's something that you want to do.
And so this obviously links so nicely to fears, right? Fears
Mm,
show up when we start thinking about, those bigger levels of success, of wealth, of visibility. What fears do tend to show up? And I'm sure you've worked with so many people that you've, supported and helped through this, but those fears or
yeah.
limiting beliefs.
Yeah, and me, myself, I've had to work through them for myself.
Yeah.
Um, the fears that come up are what massive is fear of failure, right?
Mm.
Because if you bring these dreams, these moonshot goals into reality, they're kind of out in the public domain now. Do you know what I mean? Because they're in the reality. And so fear of failure in front of people is a huge thing. Um, Fear of success also of that goal coming to fruition. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? Because it's so big, you know, and the in between things as well, fear of people judging you. Um, because it's not self-doubt is normally linked to people, other people, and what they say and do around you. It's not something that you create. Do you see what I mean? It's a third party thing. So that we just keep things buried, and it's not what we intend to do, it's just the way that we're wired.
Mm. I think it's so easy to do that, isn't it? To keep things buried and to not talk about it. I think, the internal challenges that we face around sort of fear, any of those limiting beliefs. I think it's so
Yeah,
easy, isn't it, to hold those in and to not necessarily share them or allow someone to help you and support you through that. So
yeah,
well, that's where people then go back into the safety mode,
yeah,
right? And don't
absolutely.
pursue those dreams, those goals that they really want to achieve. Is this something that you've seen, I was thinking consistently, but have you seen this in sort of people that you've helped and clients where they're
Yeah,
kind of internally go inwards and we want to really encourage them
yeah,
to share so that we can obviously help and support them?
yeah, absolutely. I see it all the time,
Mm.
and it's such a shame because when I've had people share those big dreams with me, I just think, oh my gosh, this would be so amazing for you. Do you know what I mean? Um, but people are terrified. And the
Mm.
thing is, when you're terrified and excited as well, when it like tickles you, oh my God, I can't believe I said that out loud, and oh my God, I can't believe I want that, and you're terrified. When those two feelings coexist, you're on the money. I really do believe you've hit the nail right on the head. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, as entrepreneurs, we will have some people listening to this podcast that I'm sure that are, that have set themselves some goals and they might be playing safe. They might have some really big goals that they want to achieve. What advice? Let's kind of go back to sort of the work that you do and maybe the depth of the book. Like I said, I'm so excited to read. But what advice would you give them if they're kind of feeling a little bit fearful, they're a little bit scared of sort of going after those bigger goals? Is there any sort of advice or any tips that you would support or give to our listeners to help them to start to pursue those goals?
Yeah, whilst it's quite terrifying, you don't
Mm,
have to say these big goals out aloud to anybody if you're afraid of that judgment or if you feel that you won't be supported. But when you say things to yourself like, well, I'll just wait for the kids to grow up, or I'll just wait for, I'll give that some thought after Christmas, or I'll give it some thought after the summer holidays. When you come up with that stuff, or, you know, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need to do this. I'm going to need to build a website. I'm going to, all those things. When you say those things to yourself, ask yourself, am I being honest? Am I really being honest to myself?
mm,
Because 9 times out of 10, we're not. Waiting for the kids to grow up, what is that? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so the kids are 8 years old and 10 years old. Well, they go to school for half their life. They're not with you all the time.
yeah.
What is that you're saying to yourself? And I'm a real believer in unpicking the words that we say to ourselves to see if there's truth in what we're saying, or are we limiting ourselves? And if you're limiting yourself, why are you limiting yourself? Because you can get to the core of what's holding you back, what you're frightened of, and you deal with that. Okay,
Mm.
so it's not a case of I must pursue this goal with gusto, and wear yourself out and scare yourself half to death. It is about unpicking and getting to the root of what's going on with you. And you can do that quite privately. You don't have to discuss it with anybody so that you feel embarrassed or vulnerable. But that is a really powerful exercise to take yourself through.
Yeah, well, that's a really good exercise and great tip there for our listeners. So that's if they want to kind of pursue a bigger goal and kind of where to start with that, and to start to think about how they can kind of work towards that as such.
Yeah,
I think something as well that I would love to ask you is sort of things to do with identity and kind of that
yeah,
self-belief. So I'm a firm believer that, self-belief is everything when it comes
yes,
to success, when it comes to happiness, when it comes to
yeah.
so many things as part of our lives. What role does that self-belief actually play, especially when we're looking at these bigger, braver goals and wanting to build success in our businesses?
Plays a massive role. It really
Mm,
does, because without self-belief, that's a whole set of rules unto itself,
mm,
mindset rules, isn't it? Without self-belief, there's lack of self-trust. If you don't believe in yourself, then you're not trusting yourself
mhm,
to pursue this. But the fact that this dream has hung around and followed you around your life must mean something. Okay, so you owe it to yourself, first and foremost, to find out what the hell is this going on with me, you know? And you don't have to, it's like climbing a mountain. Let's say it's a mountain, because that's how it looks to all of us. It is this gargantuan mountain that, you want to climb. And what most people will do is look at the mountain and think, oh my God, I can't do that. No, that's not the way to look at it. It's a case of, okay, this is what I want to do. This is hanging around me. I can do this
mm,
by nibbling away at it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to go walking. I'm going to do some walking with like hilly bits maybe. I'm going to get some walking shoes. Actually, I'm going to get training. Actually, I'm going to connect with people that have done that.
mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
see what I mean? Because if there's another human on earth that's done the thing that you want to do, that means it's humanly possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
gives you half a chance of believing in yourself, because that other person they're no better than you. Do you see what I mean? So nibbling away at something is by far the best way, because you're taking these steps in the right direction. And before you know it, you look back and it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Do you know what I mean? And that actually gives you layers of courage, layers of self-belief and self-trust to keep going.
Do you know, I think that's such great advice as well, especially around what you're saying, in regards to other people. And I'm a firm believer of this because I think I always used to, at the beginning of this business, especially, I used to always sort of compare myself to other people and think, oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to do
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
I think, well, but why? Why? What is different? I
yeah,
mean, yes, we're all individual as human beings and our characters and personalities, but why am I thinking that I can't achieve it? So and so has achieved it. She's 5 years ahead of me.
yeah,
She's put in the graft. She's put in the work. So I can
yeah,
achieve it. Surely if I put in the graft and the work. And it's so true. And I think it's a really good point to make. I know you made a couple of points there, but it's a really good point to make to just really, for anyone listening to this episode that's having any self-doubts, that's comparing themselves to other people, remind yourself that we are all human. We are all humans and we are
yeah,
all capable and able to achieve whatever we set ourselves as goals, as dreams. It's
yeah.
about the mindset, right? The self-belief.
Totally, totally. That saying, you can do whatever you set your mind to, or
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's not an empty saying. I didn't even understand it as a youngster, but it literally is setting your mind to something. And the reason that we don't get the majority of things is because, have we really set our mind to it? No. No. And I always say to people, the reason you can't sing like Beyonce is because you can't be bothered.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I mean, I could sit here going, I wish I could sing like Beyonce, but you're so right. If you put in the work,
Do what Beyonce did. Put in the hours that Beyonce did.
yeah.
Have the lessons that Beyonce did. Stay up all night like she did, and then you will sing like Beyonce.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
it's that simple, isn't it?
But it is. I think it's looking at it through that lens, isn't it? It's giving, us as individuals a perspective shift of, okay, actually we can do this, It's just
Yeah.
about that self-belief. And yes, the strategies or the methods, whatever we need, but also the hard graft and the hard work as well.
Yeah, yeah. And do you know what, Kaylee? It's almost like let's just turn around the narrative that we already have.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, so and so's doing that. I could never possibly do that. And
Mm.
just turning that narrative round, so and so's doing that. That means it's possible. But
Yes.
we do this from so young. I don't know if you did this. You
Mm.
go into an exam, you do the exam and you think, yeah, I did all right there. And then you come out of the exam, all your friends are saying, oh my God, did you get question B? I put blah, blah, blah. And they all put the same thing and you put something different. And immediately you think you've got it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do that from childhood
Yeah.
and it just gets worse and worse and worse, doesn't it? We always think everybody else is getting it right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Such a good point. Such a good point. I think it's a nice little reminder or a big reminder, important reminder for everyone.
Yeah.
Do not compare, really lean into that self-belief. And I feel like this links to identity as well, actually. So, I mean, what would I say your advice be with this, but what's your take on this? If we're looking at identity of an
Yeah.
individual, so we talked about mindset and the self-belief, but it all kind of interlinks. How does someone's identity kind of need to evolve in order to again, hold those bigger levels of success and
Yeah. That's quite a scary part.
mm,
Um, it is quite a scary part because if you think over the years, where you've been suppressing this thing that you're supposed to be doing, you're also suppressing your true identity. And in the passage of time, you become someone's mum and then another person's mum. You become someone's wife or partner. You become someone's colleague or their boss and all the rest of it. You become all these things to other people. And in the depths of you is who you really are. Now, for you to pursue these dreams, these big, brave goals, there is an identity shift, and that can affect other people
mm,
because in pursuit of the real you, that's a different landscape to other people. So you end up in this conflict where you're fighting yourself, and it becomes quite a frustrating place.
yeah,
But people don't necessarily recognize I'm going through a transition. So that person, they're not doing anything wrong. As much as they're annoying me, I'm struggling in that relationship. It's not them, it's you. You're
mm,
changing and you're fighting with changing because you're trying to satisfy existing situations, existing relationships, while you're turning into the real you. So not everybody will come along on the journey with you, and that's quite frightening. So what we tend to do is we mask our real identity because we don't want to upset other people. We upset ourselves instead. Do you see what I mean? And there's a lot to be said with being brave enough to give people the best version of you, which
yes,
is not necessarily the version they're used to. Some
mm,
people might wave ta-ta to that because they don't like it. It shifts them. It makes
yeah,
them uncomfortable. Do you see what I mean? So that is by far, I think, the hardest part of this, dealing with your shift in identity.
mm.
But coming out the other side, and I've done this, coming out the other side, it is so liberating.
Of course, yeah,
It's so liberating, and you feel that you can do anything. That's how I feel right now, and I'm going to bump into brick walls, but I will bump into another brick wall with my full and true self. Do you
yeah,
see what I mean? Um, it is not easy. I'm not going to say it's a walk in the park because it
no,
isn't.
no,
And I like to train and coach people through this
mm.
because it's not easy.
Really evolving, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
and it's the work, it is the deeper work, it is the work that, and again, like you mentioned, a couple of minutes ago, that not everyone will like it, not everyone will agree. You will lose potentially some people as you
Yeah.
evolve, but the right people will be there, and
Yes.
they're supporting you, or whether they become a client or just part of your community, whatever it is. But I think it's so important, isn't it? Because again, we can't, if I look back from when I started this business 5 years
Yeah.
ago, I'm a very different person. My identity has evolved, it has developed, it has
Yeah.
changed because of who I've become, and well, the work that I've done, and ultimately the landscape and everything that's changed as well. So I
Yeah.
think it's definitely important for people to recognize that as well, and not be afraid to do it. Because again, I
Yeah.
think there's that kind of fear factor, isn't it? I know we've talked about setting bigger goals that kind of basically scare you a little bit, but also sort of doing the identity work that's really going to help you evolve to get to those
Mm.
goals.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is nothing better than being the best version of yourself.
No,
You're not changing into somebody else, or
no, of
you're not
course you're not.
changing into the
It's you.
person somebody that you admire. You are literally bringing out the real you. Um, and there's nothing better than that. It's just that it's a bumpy road to get there, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, if any entrepreneurs listen to this podcast and say, for example, they gave themselves permission to
Mm,
set a goal that genuinely is that big goal that's potentially a little bit scary,
yeah.
what do you think is possible for them?
Achieving that. I think that's possible. If you are going to honor that goal, then I believe you will be rewarded with that goal or something very much like it. Um, it's a top shelf thing. This is what I liken it to. So if something is on a really high shelf, because we tend to pick from the shelf at eye level in life, it's
Mm,
easy. You know you're going to get it. If something's on a really, really high shelf and there's many shelves in between, if you commit to reaching for the highest shelf, if you don't reach that top shelf, what you're going to do, guaranteed, is reach a shelf in between here and that top shelf. You're going to reach something. Do you see what I mean? So I think anything is possible.
yeah. And it is. Anything is possible. It really is. I think if we set ourselves those goals, we can achieve them. And
Yeah.
it obviously goes back to your incredible book, because this is, it's such a great conversation. And I'm sure that we could be talking about all of these things for hours, because we could go into so much depth. But I want to come back to the book itself and
Yeah.
to kind of finish this episode on. What would you say is the biggest takeaway from this book that you want our listeners to know about today?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. That's a loaded question. But do you know what? There is something mammoth in each chapter. There's 10 chapters and there's something huge in each chapter. But I suppose um what I want women to do, what I want women to absolutely get from that book is that they are the only obstacle in their way. And I want women to give themselves permission to be who they are.
Hmm.
There's nobody going to give you permission. It's not something that comes from a husband or a boss or anything like that. It comes from you. Just give yourselves permission. And that flows in the book. It's not right at the beginning because it's too soon. I literally take you through a journey of self worth, uncovering, revealing, development, the whole lot. And permission comes a bit later, but yeah, that is a massive takeaway because we're not giving ourselves permission. We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for the men folk, if you like, to open the door to let us in. We don't need to do that. The door is not locked to your future.
No, that's it. And
Yeah,
do you know, I think that's such a good point as well, because absolutely, the longer we wait for permission or someone to say, it's okay, you can do this now.
yeah,
The longer
yeah,
we're putting off those goals, those dreams, reaching those milestones, or it could be the smallest of things that you're waiting for permission of.
yeah,
don't need it. And I think this is the thing as well. We need to take true leadership of our own lives and our own choices and decisions,
Yes.
don't we? We really have to, because we are in a landscape right now. As we know, AI is there, technology is developing faster than
Yeah.
literally I can think. And I think we need to take those bold decisions and really trust ourselves, our gut instinct, and go for it, not hold back.
Yeah.
Because the longer that we wait, the longer we wait for that permission, as you say, the longer it's going to be till we achieve those goals, or the longer we're going to be waiting until we can become the better version of ourselves.
Absolutely. And so then you're living a life of turmoil internally and frustration, and a life of blame also. And I would challenge any woman, I would challenge any mother, yeah, or any woman actually. If you're not, if you're not a mother, maybe you've got a niece or something. Would you ever look at that youngster and say, "Oh no, darling, you need permission to do that. You need permission to succeed"? You would never say that to them.
No.
Never, not in a million years.
Yeah.
So you need the same language for yourself.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right. What would be your final piece of advice today for our listeners, Dee? Anything at all around goal setting, dreaming bigger, the book itself? What final piece of advice that you'd give our listeners?
Please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of yourself. Don't be afraid of what you're capable of. Just get out there and do it. Take it by the reins, take it by the horns, and just do it.
Amazing piece of advice for our listeners. And honestly, it's been such a pleasure welcoming you onto the
It's been
podcast
great. It's
today,
been great.
sharing your book. Where can our fabulous listeners find you, connect with you, and where can they purchase your book?
The book is on Amazon. It's in paperback and Kindle and also audio. I recorded the audio.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I know. Do you know what? That was harder than writing the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's in those formats on Amazon. You can find me on LinkedIn, Dee Airey. I'm also Dee Airey on Facebook, and I'm Dee Airey Success Coach on Instagram. So yeah, I would
Amazing.
love people to come and follow me and just hear more about all of this. And because and I do help so many people just get over these hurdles in their lives. And it's just so wonderful to see people just go off and do what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah.
Oh, thank you so, so much. And for all of our listeners, like I said, all of the links are in the show notes. Go and purchase the book. It's absolutely, like I said, I'm so excited to be reading it, but it's beautiful to look at. And I cannot wait to dive into this, because there's some absolute gold in this from what Dee has shared on the podcast today. And then go and connect with her. She's incredible at what she does. Obviously, she's on all of the platforms. So whatever your favorite platform is, go and connect with her, say hello, reach out to her, and start to be in her world if you're not already. Dee, it's been such a
Oh,
pleasure.
wonderful. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone that's
Oh.
tuned into today's episode. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And I'll see you all again next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast with me, your host, Kaylee Greenacre. If you are ready to build, grow, and scale your dream six-figure or multi-six-figure business, then head to our website now for more information, or connect with me on socials to see how you can create your dream business and dream life.